Everybody. My name is James Moody, and I'm going to talk about no Trump system responses today. Um, this is a lecture I'll be giving live soon, and I want to time it. So here we go. No Trump system responses. So today, I'm going to focus on response and rebid opportunities. I'm going to take a very standard approach. I'm not going to have a whole lot of different conventions in play. The examples are going to emphasize inviting games and slams and some cooperation and cooperative things you can do to get the slams by way of control bidding and other means. The card I'm going to have is just a 15 to 17 no Trump that employs statement and transfers and four-way transfers on some hands. Invitational to no Trump if we play four-way transfers, so you have to get statement first, but we won't dwell on how you invite necessarily. The emphasis on some of these examples, whether you should or you should not invite. I won't talk about special three-level bids in any detail. Everyone wants to play different things, and it's beyond the scope of this talk to discuss those or go through examples of those. We're going to start with balanced hands. And balanced hands sort of traditionally have been taught in the way this chart describes. You know, if you don't have a balanced hand with 0-7 high card points, you pass. And if you have 8 or 9, you invite. If you have 10 or bad to about 15, you just, and so on, as the chart describes here. I'm going to just change this just a little bit for my purposes. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, and we'll get into the whys of why I change it here in a minute. But I'm going to call 8 to 10 high card points as a possible pass or invite or bid 3 no Trump. And we'll again talk about that a little bit more, but just to go on, if you have a good 15 to 17, you know, there's the quantitative for no Trump. We'll talk about quantitative for no Trump. And we won't talk a whole lot about the big hands like 18 or 19 or 20 or 21, but the idea is if you get one of those and your partner opens a no Trump, you just really want to bid slam or force partner to bid slam, or even force partner to consider a grand slam. So on to invitational hands, which I'm calling 8 to 10. Now, I've been mentoring a lot of different people over the years, and I've tried to discourage people from inviting when they have a balanced 8 count. And I've often told my mentees to pass with a balanced 8 count, invite with a 9 or more 9 high card points, into bid game with 10. And there's really nothing wrong with that on the whole. If you don't get anything else, someone telling you to pass your balanced 8 counts is not a bad thing on average. That would work out. But I want to go into just a little bit more said about this, because it's a little bit of an oversimplification. There's some 8-point hands that you really do want to go on with, and some 9 and 10-point hands that you might not want to go on with. So we'll take a look at that right now. I have this texture guideline called the Rule of 16. And the idea with the Rule of 16 is a bad name for a rule because it's really the rule of 13, 14, 15, and 16. But you take your high card points and you add together with your that number, high card points, the number of cards in your hand, including those high cards, that are rank 8 and above, and that combine with high cards. And if your answer comes out to be 13 or less, you should pass that hand. According to the rule, maybe times when you don't want to do that. And then with 14 or 15, you invite, and with 16 or more, you bid game. Now, I don't know that this is a hard and fast thing exactly. It's kind of new to me, but I've been tracking it, and I've discovered that this really kind of works. And so I wanted to let everyone else see it and evaluate it for themselves. I'm not going to claim it's perfect, but I've seen some examples in play where I should have passed and I didn't. I invited and it went down, and so on. And so I have some examples that really help clarify this. They're less, I call them tortured because I've made them up, or they were made up in another presentation that I saw, and they're maybe on the edges, on the boundaries of the spectrum, but that's okay. We'll take a look at them anyway. First one is this one. Here's a 9 count. And for my mentees, if I bet a no trump, they would have this hand and say, oh yeah, I need to invite two no, whatever, the means of inviting the 3 no trump game. And I just want to point out that according to this texture guideline, the rule of 16, this hand doesn't qualify. It's got 9 high card points and 4 cards above the rank of 8, which is 13. And so that guideline says, even though this is a 9 count, you should pass. And you can look at this hand, I think, and see that it's really not very good. And you can see why this rule might work. And so that's one reason, that's one of the examples. Well, let's get a little bit better hand. Here's a 9 counts, the same 9 high card points, ace, king, jack, jack. But now 11 cards in the hand are above the rank of 8. So 11 and 9 is 20. So this hand, according to the texture guideline, should bid game. So this is here to clarify and then sort of accentuate the idea that not all 9 counts are the same. And this one is really a lot better than the previous one, to the extent that the one should pass and the other one should bid game. So hopefully you can look at this hand and see how it would benefit to have those jacks and 10s and 9s and 8s in the hand to help the no trump hand from 9 tricks. You're just trying to get to 9 tricks. Now, I think good players intuit this kind of thing without maybe knowing about the rule or anything like that. But the one thing about the really good players, better players than I am, is that they can play the cards real well. So it may be that these kinds of rules are better suited for better players who can get all 9 tricks that might be there. Be that as it may, I would hope that everybody aspires to be one of those good players and takes this into account. And when you have a 9 count that makes game that you failed to invite, or one that your partner didn't accept the invitation, when you had a 9 count like this and it makes, that you would kind of make note of it and say, oh, I remember that presentation that James Moody gave, and he talked about texture cards, and maybe augment your ideas about it. Okay, now we go on to an 8 count. Here's one that's got 3 queens and 2 jacks. And every card in the hand is above the rank of 8, which gives you 8 and 13 is 21 as for the rule of 16 number. And again, according to that rule of 16, and this is a very unusual example of an 8 count, but according to that rule, this hand should just bid game, even though it's only an 8 count. And it's hopefully not too hard for you to get the idea. If you construct a lot of different 15-point hands that your partner might have, that with a hand like this, across from him as dummy, he ought to very often should make 9 tricks. All you got to do is get to 9, and all these queens and jacks and 10s will help him do that. or her. Sorry, I don't mean to be sexist. And the last one, the last tortured example is the 10 count that has nothing else. And according to that rule of 16, this hand should pass, being a 13. And I would just say I wouldn't probably pass it because I think aces are worth just a little bit more than 8 or 4. And you got 2 of them, and both of those end up being entries that will help develop tricks in the player's hand. So I would confession, even though this doesn't meet the rule of, this is only a 13, I would still invite with it. And that's just my way of saying, hey, this is not hard and fast, but think about it. When you have a 10 count like this and partner bids 3-0, or you bid 3-0, you put your partner in 3-0 and they don't make it, take a look at this and say, well, maybe I should have just invited, or maybe I should have passed. Semi-balanced hands are really nothing different about them. Here's an 8 count that evaluates to a hand that should invite, and I just throw it in here to mention, hey, semi-balanced hands are good because you have a 5-card suit, and a lot of people would invite with 8 and a 5-card suit, even if they hadn't heard the selection. So when you have a 5-card suit, take that into account and perhaps give yourself more credit. And the summary of the balanced hands is your spot cards should help you decide to pass or invite a big game. And by the way, I would pass this one. I think this is my thoughts were this is a typical 8 count. It's more what you'll normally see, not all those jacks and 10s and 9s and 8s in the same hand. And even though this hand has 2 4-card suits, I would not bid with it. I would just, maybe in a team game, I would go ahead and invite, but because it has 2 4-card suits, a lot of people think if you have 2 4-card suits, that should increase your desire to bid it. But for me, I would pass this, and a lot of times they'll only make one, or if you invite partner, accepts the invitation and then goes down. When if you had just passed, you'd have been much better off. Now, let's move on to another subject, the quantitative 4-no. And, I think the quantitative 4-no gets people into a little bit of trouble, that there's situations where people don't know what it means when someone partner bids it. But quantitative 4-no, partner opens a no trump, you bid 4 no trump. That's not asking for aces. It's saying, hey, if you're at the top of your bid, if you're at 17, go ahead and bid 6-no. It denies a 4-card major in that case. So you might transfer first or bid statement first, or directly jump to 4-no. But anytime you bid one of those and then immediately bid 4-no after, it says something about, if you bid statement, that means you have a 4-card major the partner didn't name, and now you're bidding a quantitative 4-no after that. Or if you transfer, you're just telling partner, hey, I have a 5-card suit, and I'm also at the point of wanting to investigate or invite slam this way, asking you if you're at the top. So here's an example of a hand that might transfer to spades and then bid 4-no after partner bids spades. And it's, 16 count, not a great spade suit. So it's going to depend maybe on whether partner has any spade cards to go along with these and whether he's at the top. If he's at the top, he's more likely to have those spade cards. So the problem you get into with the quantitative 4-no is do you know you have aces? Do you know, maybe you're right at the boundary, you have 32 high card points, you have all the kings and queens and jacks, but you don't have 2 of the aces. That could happen, right? And it's your partner answer with the aces first. And this is the place where we get tangled up, because if partner doesn't have if your side doesn't have all the aces that they need, if you're missing two, how do you unravel it? And I'll kind of leave that to an exercise for you. But my thoughts are, if when asked if the no trump bidder has three aces, well, don't ask, don't respond. He says just bid the slam and bid whichever slam you think is right. If you have three spades with partner, if they've gone through a transfer and they have spades, maybe six spades would be better than six no. But if you're playing match points, a lot of people want to just maximize and just take a chance on six no. But in any event, if what I've decided with some of my partners is that if there's a quantitative bid made, then we'll sort of answer with an ace count. And if we're missing two of the aces, you got to stop somehow, and that's the problem area. Because if I bid five spades, I'm saying, well, we didn't have enough. I'm presuming that we transferred the spades first. If we just went straight one no, four no, and then partner answered with aces, and now we said five no. That's not saying, hey, what about your kings? That's not what it means. It's hey, we didn't have enough. We need to stop. And now, I can't stop at four diamonds or four hearts or or whatever it was that they did to show their ace count. So that's the situation there. I'm going to take a little pause for the dog here. The dog is about to start yelling. And so, time out. Okay, I'm back. Sorry for the interruption. You didn't have to wait, so maybe that's okay. Let's move on. Okay, this is probably out of position, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now. So we haven't really talked about transfers, but everyone's played transfers. And the reason it's in here is this idea, if you have a maximum, or if you had a hand that you wanted to transfer and then bid for no trump quantitative. Well, it kind of changes if you transfer and now partner super accepts. A super accepts would be if you have spades and you bid hearts to transfer the spades, and then partner, instead of saying two spades, says three. Well, that says he's got four spades and he's got probably has 17 points. Well, most people don't. So in that case, partner makes a super accept. Now you don't have to worry about, four no trump now becomes ace asking. It's not a quantitative bid anymore. So another super accept is to bid with three card support, is to bid one of the minors, whichever is your best minor. In the case of spades, anyway, one no trump, two hearts, three clubs says the three clubs shows three spades instead of four. And it has some kind of max, and it shows club values. And then the responder says three hearts again to retransfer. And from that point, can pass if they just had this terrible hand, or if they have a marginal seven count or a good six or something, they can go ahead and pick game because they have club cards with partner. They can decide to do it. This is a little different if partner transfers, to it's two diamonds, and then it goes two hearts, and now three diamonds isn't really available to show diamond cards because the diamond bid is the retransfer suit. So that's something to be aware of. I just thought I'd throw it in there. There's other ways to super accept, but this is sort of the one Max Hardy has in his book. And it's always more standard practice. If you pick up a really big hand, you might want to just bid Gerber. And the question I have at the bottom of this was, your partner open no trump with 14 high card points? Because if they do, you might have all the queens and jacks and kings, but not have enough of the aces. Because this is an 18 count, and 18 and 14 is 32, and you might be off 2 bases. So clear that up with your partners before you bid. Just jump to slam. You might want to bid Gerber with a really good hand like this. So let's move on to Stayman. Stayman really deserves a lot of attention because it's so powerful. There's so many things you can do with it, including bidding bad hands like this one. This is a hand that's suitable for what people call garbage Stayman. The idea is no matter what partner bids, you're going to pass. And requirement is a really interesting requirement here, I think, is you really need to have 5 diamonds. You need to be short in clubs. Because if you're not, partner's going to bid 2 diamonds without a full card major, and you might stick him in a 42 fit or something like that. You might have a whole bunch of clubs. So you really want to have diamonds to make this bid. Another bid that's less than an invitational is 5-4 in the majors, and in that case, Stayman is the right bid because if partner bids 2 diamonds, you can bid 2 hearts to say, well, I have both majors, but I have 5 of these, and we just want to play there. So that's what I advocate. You don't want to transfer and pass because partner might have 4 spades, and if he does, your 4-4 spade fit's going to be better than 5-2 card fit. Inviting statement goes like you see here on the right. There's some auctions. Partner bids no trump. You bid 2 clubs. He bids 2 hearts. If you have hearts, you can bid 3 hearts, like with this hand. If he bids 2 diamonds, you can bid 2 no, or 2 spades. You can bid 2 no. So in this example, those are the possibilities. Your partner should bid diamonds or hearts or spades. If you have partners that if they don't have a major, they bid 2 no, you probably need to either get a new partner or teach them they can't do that, because you're not going to be able to use garbage Stayman. You're not going to be able to invite or pass hands with like this, and you're going to get too high. In many cases, I've had partners that bid 2 no, understand that they didn't have a 4-card major. They had trouble convincing them why that was wrong, but it is. Another thing about inviting with Stayman is that partner could have both major suits for his 1 no trump opener. So if you bid Stayman and he bids 2 hearts, with 4 spades, you really need to bid 2 spades. That sequence, 1 no trump, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 2 spades, shows exactly 4 spades invitational values. And I have to ask, what's partner going to do if after he bids 2 hearts, you bid 2 no trump? He's got 4 spades and a 15 count. He's just going to pass, and you're going to miss your full force bid. So this is how you get there without going too high. Now, the 2 spade bid is not forcing. Partner can pass it. He can bid 2 no and say he doesn't have 4 spades with you, but he has a minimum. He can bid 3 no because he knows you have invitational values. Or if he's at a max and he has 4 spades, he can bid 4 spades. He probably shouldn't bid 3 spades because that's what we call a blame transfer. And I think that this bid flips the captaincy. Normally, when partner bids a no trump, you're the captain. In situations like this one, you narrowly define your values. You're saying, partner, you decide. I want you to be captain now. And that's what this bid does. Well, there's a lot of times when you have a forcing hand where you have a hand that you really want to bid more. And so here's one of those. Here, we're gonna emphasize slam potential hands. This hand has some potential. It's only 13. He's out 13 and 17 is only 30. Well, you know, you need to think about controls and length and suits and stuff like that before you give up on slam. And this hand has some slam potential. So if you bid two clubs, what are you going to do? A partner doesn't bid hearts. Is the question at the right. Well, it's easy. You're going to bid three clubs. So what you really need to know about three clubs is it may show four hearts, but you don't really have to have four hearts. What it does do is say you have slam potential in clubs. Okay, and so any rebid the partner makes, except three no, is a Q bid in support of clubs and and invites, you know, is a cooperative bid in your investigation of slam potential. And there's a lot of hands that there's just 15 counts that'll make slam with this. Here's one of them. Well, here's one where we had 17. So partner had a max, and we decided, okay, well, you bid three clubs, I can bid three diamonds. And then you say three hearts, he says three spades. You know, and we just go on and bid a club slam off the ace of clubs. And I won't talk about what happens the rest of the auction, but there's a lot of possibilities. The partner bid four clubs after you get three clubs. I would take that as a slam invite as well. That's what happened with me when I did this one live. We still got to six clubs. I didn't like the bid, but I took it as a slam invite to work. So let's change it a little bit, and you know, you have the same thought on this one. You know, partner bids hearts. I'm going to bid three clubs because I have the slam invitational hand in clubs. And instead, though, this example I'm going to give you, hey, you bid spades. What are you going to do now? Well, do you have a bid that's a slam try? Well, the standard bid to make a slam try now is girl. In the Max Hardy's book, which I take as the standard for 2-over-1 bidding, he says that if partner bids a major that you like, that Gerber and agrees on the suit and asks for aces, then that's fine. You're gonna, if you do that, you'll get to 6 on my example hand that partner has, but I don't like it that much. My suggestion is that if you bid 3 of the other major, which is just available to be used, then that shows slam interest in opener's name suit. So in this case, that suggests this auction might be possible opposite this hand. And the example I'm showing here has all these bids shown. That the key ones are, the 3 heart bid shows slam interest in spades. 4 club bid is a Q bid now, and this hand really likes the idea of partner having the ace of clubs. The 4 diamond bid is really something that this hand likes because he only has 1 round of control. And now a key bit here also is that 4 spades denies a heart control. So the reason I put these bits in here is to show how you bid first and second round controls, how they can help you if you know that partner either has the ace or the king or a singleton, but you don't know which. In these cases, you kind of figure it out. And then when partners bids, 4 spades to deny a heart control, and you say 4 no, you're kind of saying, well, don't worry about it, partner. I've got a heart control. And when he bids 5 diamonds to show 3 key cards, you can ask him with 5 hearts if he's got the queen of spades. and having all the key cards and the queen of spades. You bid 5 no trump. Now having all those key cards and partner bid 5 no trump, you can bid 7. Now I don't know that you will, but I think that everyone might agree that with these club discards that this hand has potential to make. So let's move on to the transfers, including the 4-way transfers into the minors. So in this slide's here just to give people who have trouble with transferring to the minors something to hang on to. And the idea is if you have a bad hand and a 6-card minor and your partner opens a no trump, don't hesitate, don't think about it too much, don't worry about whether a partner might do better in 1 no trump. Just put him in 3 of a minor, or put you in 3 of a minor, depending on your system. If you have a way to get to 3 of a minor, bid it. And of course, with the 4-way transfers, we would bid 2 spades, and partner would bid 2 no trump or bid 3 clubs. If you bid 2 no trump, we bid 3 clubs and say, let's play clubs. And if you bid 3 clubs, you pass. And so here's an example of a hand that might invite with a club transfer. You know, and in the example auction that I have, there 2 no trump was sort of super accept for clubs. Saying, yeah, I like clubs. Clubs are good. That partner does make a bid that says I like clubs, then we can go ahead and put 3 no trump with such a hand. It's marginal, but partner has something good, clubs, then it might it has a chance of making the 3 no trump game. If you're not playing transfers, if you don't have 4-way transfers and you have a hand like this, then when partner makes a bid to transfer you to a minor, when you make a bid to transfer partner to a minor, you have no way of knowing what to do. So you just have to guess at it, and I'm not going to suggest what the answer is here. I just wanted to point out the good thing about 4-way transfers. Now I throw in this hand, which has only 7 high and a 6-card club suit. And the heading is a little bit misleading because the right answer for this particular hand is none of the above. You want to go ahead and bid game. And the reason is because no matter, about 67% of the time, no matter how bad partner's club holding is, he can make 5 tricks by ducking 1 or BS queen third or something, queen doubleton. He can play the queen, and then if someone has 4 to the jack 10, you can discover that by playing queen first. But you always, you very frequently will get 5 or 6 tricks out of this and then make 3 no trump. So even though you only have a 7 count, it's the one time when you go ahead and bid game. So here's some more transfer opportunity kind of things. The standard is, okay, with 5 of a major and 4 of a minor, you transfer to the major and then bid 3 clubs to say, partner, I've got 9 cards in these 2 suits, and I have some values. And in the first example, the right-hand bid is the one, right-hand hand on the screen is bid a no trump, and you transferred. And then he bid 2 hearts, and you said 3 clubs, and he just says 4 hearts because he doesn't have any. He's got some weakness in the club suit. He only has 3 hearts with you, and it's an idea of fast arrival, suggesting that slam is probably not going to work here. In case you were worried about it, in case you were thinking about slam, this is not the one for it. And here's another hand the partner might have, where you have 17 high card points in the no trump bidder's hand, and we have the same auction. And the key point here is that after you bid 3 clubs, after the transfer, partner bidding 2 hearts, then when he bids 3 diamonds or 3 spades, that says, okay, I like clubs. And in case you wanted to bid slam in clubs, that's fine with me. Another way to show mild slam interest is with the 6 card major, and the way you do that is transfer to 2 spades and then bid 4. Now, if you just wanted, if you have a 6 card suit and you just want to play game in it, Texas transfers are the recommended way to do that. But if you bid a transfer to the 2 level and then bid 4, that says, you got some extras and you have a 6 card suit. And here's this particular hand, is almost too strong to just suggest slam, because it's got a set first round control and 2 suits, and second round control with the other 2 suits. The problem it has is the trump suit itself. The partner doesn't have, the queen and the jack of spades. So he's got ace doubleton or something like that. You very easily could lose 2 spade tricks. Or you could lose a spade trick and the ace of diamonds or something like that, or a club, something. But this is another bid. If you show mild slam interest, you're flipping the captaincy. Partner might ask for aces. He becomes the captain. You make a mild slam try like this. Now I want to talk about how you show your shape and strength, whether you have an invitational 5-5 in the majors, or you have a game forcing 5-5 in the majors. And the distinction is, if you're invitational, transfer to hearts and then bid spades. Transfer to hearts and then bid spades. And the other side of that is, if you're game forcing, transfer to spades and then bid 3 hearts. And the difference is, with the invitational hand, you're down at the 2 level after your second bid. It's not forcing, and it flips the captaincy. Your partner may have opened a no trump with 2-2 in the majors. I've done it. And you should not insist on playing a major suit just because you're 5-5. Just don't do it. Let your partner decide. You've shown that you're 5-5. He knows that. He may have a whole bunch of cards in the minors and want to play no trump. Same thing with the game forcing strength hand. They both flip the captaincy. Question at the bottom is, what does 4 of a minor mean after the sequence? And by partner, and I would suggest that 3 spades would say it's a slow arrival to spades, so it suggests that I really like spades, with the indication interested in the slam here. And that 4 of a minor suggests that you have heart cards and you have slam interest in hearts. Because 4 hearts would be fast arrival, so you don't have a way to get to 4 hearts slow, except a bit of new suit. And let's talk. Then another one of a situation that can come up is a 6-4 in the majors. And if you're 6-4 in the majors, it's okay to use Stayman. And then a partner says 2 diamonds, you can bid 4 hearts to show a 6-card spade suit, a 4-card heart suit. And it's called delayed Texas. And it's a problem hand for a lot of people, but this comes up some. So if you put it in your tool bag, talk about it with your partner, make sure that they know what you're doing, and don't be surprised if you screw it up once. If you screw it up twice, just don't use it anymore. And so in summary, here's what we talked about. We talked about balanced invites and the quantitative 4-no and the statement and transfers, things that force, ways to get to slams, and showing our shape and strength. And hopefully, this isn't too long. If this was too long today, I apologize. I had trouble making it. I didn't have time to make it shorter. So we'll see you at the tables and good luck.